Hey guys, Christian here. Today we got the Acura Integra and let's get into the specs right away. MSRP on this is $33,000 flat. This has a 1.5 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine with VTEC. It has a CVT and it's front wheel drive. This gets 200 horsepower, 192 torque, 7.6 0 to 60. This gets 30 city, 37 highway, or 33 combined. And this weighs just under 3,100 pounds. So we have this in lunar silver metallic, so it kind of just goes good with the wheels as well too, which are also silver, 17-inch wheels in case you're wondering. But overall, like the whole car, I want to just take it the whole aesthetic. Again, the Integra's from like a previous model that Acura used to make a long time ago, with of course only 2 doors, but this kind of comes back as we saw with like 200 horsepower. Kind of sporty, as we'll see on the drive. It actually drives pretty sporty. Doesn't have a crazy amount of power, but it definitely has like a good oomph to it. So on the front side, we have the LEDs, which are actually called the dual LEDs. So it kind of has like 4 projector lights, which kind of course light up the whole road. And then it also has like the very like signature daytime running lights, which I think really looks really good at night, especially the back tail lights as you see when we get back there as well. But on the front, kind of interesting that they actually put the name of the car there too. Integra on the right side, not on both sides, so it's kind of interesting. The whole front, I have like the whole black mesh over here, the Acura symbol of course too. Again, just very simple front. On the back side, we have the chicane tail lights. Have a really nice look to them. It kind of reminds me of the IS lights, which kind of like wrap around the right side of the car, or of course the both sides of the car. And then we have like the whole bumper on the bottom as well, which is kind of like the diffuser. This one has a standard one, but you can also upgrade to like a more sporty, of course, diffuser. If you've seen the other lines, like the Type S line, looks really cool. Has like the quad exhaust at the bottom, the whole diffuser, really sporty. This is a $33,000 model, so very basic, but again, it looks still pretty sporty too, especially with the tail lights in my opinion. But getting into the trunk, so it is pretty cool. Most usually don't have like a hatchback, but well, accidentally locked it. But at this point, if I unlock this, nice hatchback, you can see we actually have a good amount of trunk space. And the really nice thing about this, of course, being a hatchback, it gives you like a really big opening in case you have to like bring anything inside. Maybe you could like bring down the seats and actually show that real quick. So now with the seats down, I actually want to show this does also have like a 60-40 split, but overall I want to just show there's like no hump. It does angle up a bit, so in case you're wondering if you could put something completely flat, actually kind of could. It'll be bent a little bit, but overall it's kind of good. You got to throw like a big TV, a bed or anything, or completely fine. But let's say you have to throw any groceries inside the trunk. If you back up a bit, you actually see we do have this big kind of like, I guess, hump, so you will have to bring in the groceries from here all the way into there, just in case you're wondering for that. But at this point, I want to just show the trunk challenge real quick. And this is me inside the trunk at this point. And to close up the trunk, you will have to just simply just bring it down, but with the hydraulics makes it pretty easy. And at this point it's closed. So to get inside that car, this does have keyless entry standard, but I actually want to show off the key a little bit real quick. So on the back side, it's all blacked out, and you do have like the Acura logo. It looks really cool because it's somewhat 3D. On the side, we have like the Acura, and then on the front, typical buttons. But I will say, even though it looks a little bit like the Honda key, it has like a very like sharp lines, and it has like a nice weight to it. I'm guessing all the metal here is like aluminum, so it has a really luxurious feel to it for sure. But opening up the door, we have the usual just like controls that we have on the door, of course, but there's not really much to see there. But getting onto the seat controls, we do have 8-way adjustable seats, standard, and you have leather trim seats. But again, you have the bottom rest, the back rest, and again, 8-way adjustable seats. But at this point, let me get inside the car, show off all the cool things we have inside. So once you get inside, I actually want to mention the screen in front of you. It's a 10.2-inch display. Again, kind of the instrument cluster, digital instrument cluster. And it's the usual, just RPMs, your speed, and any other screens you might set up. So inside, we have a good-sized steering wheel, Acura logo in center, kind of control on left side, right side, paddle shifters, of course, and then on the screen behind there. So between you and your passenger, you have a display, 7-inch display to be exact, and you also have like 2 kind of like controls, volume on the left side, of course the right side's kind of more the tuning, and then you have all your buttons if you got to connect and everything. You have like the nice vents right below that, all the AC controls, which if you remember from my Honda Civic video, I think these are the exact same, like the AC controls, which again, nothing bad, and I think they actually look kind of good feel to them too. Below that, we have like a little bit more controls. We actually have like a USB in case you got to plug in for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This model doesn't have wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. I know you can also get like those third-party plugins, but this one simply, you will have to simply just connect the cable, of course, or just use simple Bluetooth for your music, of course, as well. And then you also get a 12-volt, so you can simply just plug your things in there in case you need more power. You have a little bit more space. You can also get like the wireless charging. This one doesn't have it, but putting my phone in there, it simply fits in there, and it's just where it should go. We have the Prindle right behind that. Really standard. I feel like it's really like everything's very standard. I might say that a lot, but it's like very like classic. Like it just fits the car as well, really well. Left side of that, we have like the dynamic mode. So you have like the comfort mode, you have the normal mode, and the sport mode, which also changes like the dial. So it's like if the dial's red, you know you're in sport. If it has no color, it's just normal mode, and then blue is kind of like the more comfort mode, which you also do feel it in the wheel. Of course, better responsiveness, and it does feel like a little bit overall just more sporty, or of course more comfortable as well too. And then you have 2 cup holders, and I will say they're pretty deep, so you got to put some big water bottles or maybe some bigger objects. Interesting that the cup holders aren't bigger, but I guess you could fit some big things that could kind of just lodge themselves on here, like possibly a big water bottle. And then behind that, we have the cup holder, or not the cup holder, but the armrest. You put some things in there. I will say it's not like humongous, but again, if you got to put some things in here real quick, it works completely fine. Or if not, just works out an armrest as well too. And then final thing, you do get a moonroof on this standard, which is pretty nice. So again, it's really nice to have in case you might need that. So getting inside the car, I already have this in my driver's side position as usual. Oh, that kind of hit my head a little bit there. That's my fault. I will say my head is kind of slightly touching, so I guess the roof line kind of just slopes down a lot. Again, probably for the efficiency. Knee room is completely fine. Again, if I'm sitting here, I'd be completely fine. Maybe once in a while I might touch my head on the top, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. Seats are comfortable back here, definitely more cushiony compared to the front ones. I think it's more like the front's more sporty. Again, this is the Integra line, but overall, you kind of don't have any AC vents back here. I think that's one thing I would have hoped for. I know we're not at an expensive price range, but at $33,000, I think I would have expected some things back here. But overall, quite comfortable back here. Pretty spacious. You do have the transmission wheel in the middle in case you have 3 passengers back here. And overall, I'm just comfy. I think I am pretty comfy back here where, again, as I mentioned, if I had to go to like Vegas or a long car ride, I'd be completely fine back here. So driving this thing, it drives really good. I will say it has like a bit of stiffness. I'm guessing, of course, it's the Integra line, so it's be a little bit more sporty suspension, of course. But you do get quite a big difference when you're changing between the 3 modes, as I mentioned, the sport mode, comfort, and the neutral mode or normal mode. And yeah, you get a difference like in the wheel feel, how the car, of course, like accelerates. It's willing to accelerate a lot harder in sport mode, but overall, it drives really nice. I will say, I feel like maybe it's just me. I feel like the car does sit a bit lower. I feel like I'm lower to the ground, so again, that more sporty feel as well too. And again, it just overall drives well. I think maneuverability actually, I feel like it kind of goes where I'm pointing, so it does have like a bit of more sporty feel compared to like some cars have like a more disconnected feel where it's going to a bit like a delay. Visibility out of this, again, standard as usual. Sound system on this, it has a standard system, so it has like an 8-speaker system from Acura, so I guess it's their own custom one, but you can upgrade to like their higher end version one, which I wonder how that one sounds. But if I guess speaking about this one seems fine. I haven't had too many issues. It doesn't get excessively loud. The bass is very like standard as well. I feel like the tone is very flat, not in a bad way, just some cars have like a more flat tone or more like bass heavy sound to it as well, but this one's like very neutral, which is not a bad thing either. As for the safety systems, as usual, I'm just gonna flash them up real quickly or just throw them all on the screen. There's quite a lot, especially nowadays. There's so many to cover. If someone were to like break down every single like safety system a car has, it would take forever. The cars, again, this being an Integra, 200 horsepower, have this in sport mode. If I were to accelerate from about like 30ish right now, so I'm not sure if you heard that. You can actually hear the turbo just a little bit right there, which sounds pretty nice. And I will say this has good power, and that was also uphill, so it did kind of like slow down a little bit there, but overall it's good power. And I will say, even though this has only like, again, 200 horsepower, 192 torque, this definitely accelerates, or it feels like it has like that more of like acceleration from the beginning a lot quicker compared to some cars. And this also has a turbo, which usually delays that power. Alright guys, that completes a review for the Acura Integra 2025 edition, again in the lunar silver metallic. Overall, again, thank you guys for always subscribing, throwing any comments down below, or any cars you want to see, let me know in the comments. But again, I think right now we're like at 2,745 subscribers at this moment. If you guys want to subscribe, definitely a majority of you are just watching just to watch, which I understand as well too, but I think the ratio is like 99% of you are new, 1% is actually subscribed. If we could get that even to like 2%, it'd be amazing, but if not, that's completely fine. Again, until next time.